Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Dur-Red. This is their part number 42167. This is what we would call a left top mounting bracket, and this is used for the mounting of a 15-inch pressure intensifier by Dur-Red. So generally very commonly we'll see two pressure intensifiers installed next to each other. Occasionally we'll see one. This bracket may or may not be used in a double installation, or it might be partially used in the sense of a left bracket will be a partial mounting approach with parts to the underside of the lid. When you have a single bracket, a single pressure intensifier, you'll need a 42167 left and a 42168 right mounting bracket. This is the left. The right is a 42168. This is a 42167. The purpose of this video is to simply show you what it looks like. Here it is. It's going to look like this when you're standing at the lid and the lid is open in front of you. Or I suppose like this if you're looking up from the underside. But also the weight, and which is 0.8 pound, and its dimensional properties. Overall projection looks like it's about 6 7/8. Overall width about 3 inch, or height, overall width about 2 1/8. This is going to does not include fasteners. There is a parts drawing that we'll show you in a moment where you can pick up the bolts for this, and this is just typical steel. The inventory either comes in as a prime coat over, I think, a zinc plating, or just zinc coated for corrosion resistance. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at the supporting information. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, here is the bracket that we are looking at, and just a series of images showing you what it looks like, just so that you can more properly, I suppose, study whether or not it matches what you have. But a great way to see this is seeing it in the parts drawing, which I'll show you here in a moment, because it allows you to see an isometric view of what it actually looks like when it's in the installed position. Back side of the unit, well, at least the interior side. And here's the parts drawing. So we're dealing with part number 2, I think. Oh no, it's here, sorry. This part, shown in drawing A. Is there an A or an assembly A? Yeah, that is the detail here, showing how that all goes together. Part 2, 42167, pressure intensifier, 15-inch left bracket. So this is specifically used for those applications that have a 15-inch pressure intensifier. The only pressure intensifiers that we have, and by the way, the term pressure intensifier is used by Dur-Red only. No other manufacturer I'm aware of uses the term pressure intensifier. Others use lifting mechanisms, others use shocks. But it's just a big coiled spring is what it is. There are 15 and 9-inch pressure intensifiers from Dur-Red. One is clearly never going to be 15-inch. What I'm saying is if you have one, it'll be quite obvious that it can't be 9-inch, because it would be, you couldn't put the two telescoping tubes together enough to turn it into 9-inch. But the real giveaway is that the 15-inch has this specific bracket, whereas the 9-inch has a much shorter bracket that is missing these two holes. So if your bracket does not look exactly like this, or a U-shaped version of it, where there'd be another long component here, you most likely have the 9-inch pressure intensifier. What's interesting though is I generally see these tubes drawn in a different orientation. I usually see the lower tube as the smaller of the two diameters, but also I would argue that part 2 and 3, the left and right brackets, one of these is drawn backwards, and I would say that it doesn't really matter, I suppose, because they're clearly showing you what they look like. but there's some missing information in the sense that nowhere on here can you identify a 3 without rotating it or flipping it over in your mind. But what you need to know to determine without knowing a part number or without fighting with one of these images is when you face the unit and the lid is open in front of you, the right bracket is on the right and the left bracket is on the left. That's how you'll know if you have a 42167, which is here, or 42168, which is this one here. So that will allow you to know that. This drawing will also allow you to come up with part numbers for the other items that you might need, the sidewall mounting boot, and obviously all of the fasteners that would go along with all of this material as well. Okay. Now let's go back, or let's go to the website where we can take a look at all of the Dur-Red products we have listed. So just type in Dur-Red, and then you'll be able to pull up any of these items and click on it. And then you can get to the manufacturer's page as seen here. And then from this page, you'll be able to get to all of the Dur-Red products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation here. There's also a link to the manufacturer's website, which does still work, actually. Dur-Red is was a 2 or 3 generation company that is now owned by Activar Industries, but we know it as JL Industries. Dave from Dur-Red was our customer service contact at Dur-Red for years. He was extremely helpful. He sold to JL Industries the company Dur-Red, I would imagine all the rights and privileges that go along with the name Dur-Red, and he's retired, or he has certainly moved on. There's no doubt. This website who knows if it'll still be up by the time you're seeing this video, but we've taken from this website and we have copied out all of the items that would qualify as a technical drawing of their units. So we have all of these listed here in that file called Technical Drawings Master Index. Okay. The most current product catalog that we ever had was a 2007 product catalog. And that's here. That's handy in order to use as a historical or reference document when you're trying to figure out what you have. And again, the purposes of this video is to just help you figure out if this is what you have. And it's a fairly large document, so you might need to be patient with it as the individual pages load. What ends up happening is a client will call us, and the nice thing about Dur-Red is their name was generally coined or embossed in the sidewall, stamped into it, so that you can literally see the name Dur-Red embossed in the metal sidewall. And that really allows you to have a good start in terms of your search for replacement parts. So if you already know you're dealing with Dur-Red, this document will very likely help you further narrow it down. I'm scanning through these pages to find something that may be of use to us. This ladder hatch. Yeah, this was only available in much smaller versions. So this would have had a 9-inch pressure intensifier on it here and here. It's hard to see, this catalog is, the date is 2007, but, this likely hasn't changed very much in several decades. So it's a valuable document from the perspective of doing research to try to figure out what it is you have. Those technical drawings are helpful as well. Dur-Red Roof Accessories 2022. Now this is the JL Industries version of what I imagine is what they've retained of their product catalog, the Dur-Red product catalog. I don't know how long any of this material will actually exist for any amount of time, because JL Industries does roof hatches unless they're getting out of their own roof hatch industry and just business and just continuing on with the Dur-Red name. But this is post acquisition of the name Dur-Red. So you've got some images of the item, you've got the parts drawing, and hopefully this will allow you to get much closer to determining if this is the part that you need. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. And then again, finally, the most important component is if you can't figure out exactly what it is you need from your installed Dur-Red hatch, take pictures, take dimensions, take as much information as you can and send all that to us, and we'll work with the manufacturer to determine what you need, because there are many roof hatch manufacturers that we deal with in terms of roof hatches and more likely replacement parts. There's one, I'm not sure if they're major, but there's certainly a name that's installed. They don't want to sell parts. The answer from this company, who will remain unnamed, is that they want you to buy a whole new roof hatch. Well, my argument is it doesn't do you much good to spend a few $1,000s to replace a roof hatch when you need a metal bracket that's $15, $20, $25, $100, whatever it is. You know, the thing about roof hatches and anything that you install when you pierce a hole through a roof is if it's not leaking, you don't go changing it. And it was not taken very kindly by the owner, the end user, who was told the manufacturer that you wrote into your spec refuses to sell parts to us, therefore they want you to buy all new parts. Well, that end user, that owner, was probably in the top 5 of employers in the United States. They have written out that company from their standard specification and have replaced them with someone else who does play ball, who will assist in getting you the parts so that you can safely operate your roof hatches. Because over the years, an installed roof hatch, for some reason, well, parts certainly get damaged. Parts get damaged and then they get removed. Parts get damaged, removed, and then never replaced. Damaged, removed, never replaced until there's a new owner and they say, what's going on with this? This needs to work right. And that's when we usually get called in. I need these parts. And it's always lifting mechanisms, then it's latches or lock case assemblies. It's occasionally gasketing. It's occasionally hinges. Sometimes it's an entire new lid. But it's rarely, if ever, an entire new roof hatch assembly. That's the absolute last answer to all of that. So if you have any questions on the Dur-Red 42167 left-hand 15-inch pressure intensifier lid mounting bracket or any other Dur-Red product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.